This is the latest offering from Anbernic. Isn't it a cutie? So, as I mentioned in the intro, the Anbernic series of devices are well renowned for quality, and this is no exception. This is the RG-280V, a very nice and very pretty looking machine. So as you can see, the front of it has a metal plate on it, which resembles the classic Famicom controller, and it has a glass screen, or glass screen cover I should say, which is slightly raised. I don't know if you can see that, but it is slightly raised and does give that machine an extra little bit of quality feel. On the side we've got two micro SD card slots. One contains the firmware, which is covered with a seal, so you don't want to be taking that out, and the other one is for storing all your movies, games and so on. We also got a volume rocker there. On the top of the device, let's put it that way so it's the right way up, we have USB-C input, that's for charging the internal battery. We have a headphone socket and the L and R triggers, two on each side. On that side we have the reset button and the power button, and yeah, that's about it. Nothing on the bottom. On the back of the device we have the speaker. Now you might be thinking, ooh, it's just a nasty mono speaker, but this speaker is quite good. It gives off a good sound, and despite its size, it is quite loud. What is interesting is they've chose to use hex screws instead of normal screws. Interesting stuff. I suppose they don't want you getting inside the device. So before we take a look at the actual device running, let's take a look at the box. Now, unfortunately, my box is pretty dirty. God knows what happens to that. But we can see some of the specs on the side here. So it's got a JZ4770 1 GHz processor. It's got a DDR2 512 megabytes of RAM, built-in capacity of 16 gigabytes. That's the card they've given you, but you can upgrade that to 128 gigabytes if you really want. 2.8 inch screen, running at 323 480, whatever, and it is a full view IPS screen, and yes, the screen on this device is really good, very clear, tempered glass, super tempered glass as it says there. Blah 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 blah. You can see all that. Apparently 7 hours of gameplay. Well, I can contest that you do get quite a lot. I've had over 5 hours and not had the battery run out, so maybe that 7 hours is true. Here you go, you see at the bottom, supports up to 256 gigabyte SD cards. Alright, so in the box you don't get a lot, to be honest with you. You get a little baggie, which the device came in, the USB-C cable, and the manual. Yes, let's just get that in the center of the screen. So not a lot, but you're not interested in that. You want to see the actual device, so let's boot it up. So as you can see, this is running the Dingo operating system, so it's not exactly a new OS. In fact, this is probably just a remodeled version of one of their previous consoles. But the thing is, the whole package as a whole is very nice. So as we can see, it comes with the usual set of emulators. We've got MAME, DOSBox, Final Burn Alpha, NES, Game Boy, Game Boy Color, Mega Drive. We've got Wonder Swan, PlayStation, Super Nintendo, PC Engine, Game Boy Advance, Neo Geo Pocket Color, and of course Neo Geo. Now, I'm not going to go through all the emulators because we know they're going to work. They always do on these devices, but I want to show a couple of games stressing the device. So what we're going to do is get a little bit closer to the screen, and we're going to play some of the games which usually do cause issues on, you know, these handheld emulation devices, and we'll see how this stacks up. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is load up some Neo Geo. Usually Neo Geo can be a bit of a pain on devices like this. So let's load up a Neo Geo game and see how smooth it runs. We'll go with the classic Double Dragon. Here we go. So you can see it loads pretty quickly, not too bad. And that Neo Geo logo is sounding very good indeed. Okay, let's get that centered a little bit better. Let's turn up the volume to full whack so you can hear what it sounds like. So I hope that's coming through on the camera. That is quite loud. Now if there are any mosaic effects on the screen or moire effects, that is not noticeable in real life. That screen is crystal clear. It's really good. Okay, let's get into the actual game. Now it's going to be very awkward to play this on the angle which I'm actually looking at this device, so please take that into consideration. Now the D-pad and buttons, while they are small, do work really well. The D-pad feels excellent. Just as good as any D-pad on an official, console from Sega, Sony or Nintendo. Feels really good. Alright. And as you can see, that is lovely and smooth. Now it is running a little bit slow, but that's not because of the emulation. That is because I've got a slow car on one of the very first races. I've basically just jumped straight into the game. But you can see that is very, very nice there. Nice and smooth. Lovely. And of course you can change the camera views just like a real PlayStation can, obviously. Okay, so there you go, that's your PlayStation emulation, and yes, all games I've tried on this work really, really well. There's no issues at all. Okay, let's take a look at something else. We're going to run a bit of Mega CD. Now running Mega CD is a little bit weird because first you have to load up the Mega CD BIOS. So we'll go like this, just load up the Mega CD BIOS first. As you can see, that is now running. And then what we do is we get the menu back up by pressing the start and select on this emulator. And then we go to change CD, load CD image. Let's see, where did I put my Mega CD games? I got a few on here. There we go. Night Striker. And then we just select the Q file. There we go. And it will act as if I've just put in a CD. So these buttons, these options up here, that is a bit of a glitch, so that is unfortunate, but they will disappear sooner or later. Or maybe not. Okay. Well, that is a bit of a shame. But they don't seem to be affecting the game. Let's turn up the volume a little bit. Now of course you can change the screen aspect ratio to fill up the entire screen, but I've got it left at default at the moment. But yeah, there we go, Night Striker, Mega CD, working just fine. And of course all the Mega Drive games work, including Virtual Racing, and they all work perfectly. No problem at all. Okay, so let's take a look at some Super Nintendo games. Most noticeably ones with special chips, games that usually cause trouble for emulators on these type of devices. So let's get out of that and go straight to Super Nintendo. Now you will notice some pausing while this game loads. It does that on real hardware. So that is not the emulation, that is just the way this game works. Because it has to decompress all the data. See, like there, pauses a little bit. Does that on real hardware. But yeah, as you can see, it seems to be playing this game just fine. Now I did play loads of normal Super Nintendo games on this, and they all worked perfectly. Yep, there's the pause. Yeah. An unfortunate side effect of trying to cram a game as big as this onto a Super Nintendo. But as you can see, works flawlessly. And the controls are very easy to do. Let's see if we can get Dragon Punch going. Bit weird on this angle. Let's see if I can do it. Hang on, let me hold it like this. Ready? I can't get my Dragon Punch going. This way. Nope. Oh well, forget about that. Very difficult to play it when you're standing behind the camera. Okay, let's take a look at some other special Super Nintendo games and see how they work. Let's try a Super FX2 game. We'll go with Star Fox 2 on that one. Okay, well, as you can see, Star Fox 2 seems to be running fairly nicely. Okay, let's get into the actual game. Ah, there we go. We got some frame skipping there. You can see that. Not too bad though. As you can see, Star Fox 2 is, handling pretty well on this device. Okay, let's take a look at one more special chip game, Star Ocean. Let's see how that works on this device. Will it load? Will it play? Ah, this is not working properly. Alright, bit of an issue there on the voices, they were cutting out. Yeah, there's an issue with the voices. Okay, so it seems that that particular special chip doesn't work, but I can tell you that all normal Super Nintendo games will work perfectly fine. DSP, Super FX, but that particular one, maybe not. So it's not perfect Super Nintendo emulation, but it's good enough. It's going to play 90%, 99% of the games. Alright, let's get out of this and take a look at something else. So here we are with my favorite game that I like to use when testing out Game Boy Advance emulation. It's the 3D Asterix game. And yes, it's running perfectly fine. Correct speed. And yep, no laggy controls. Works just fine. Sound emulation is also pretty good. And I can tell you honestly, I've played many other Game Boy Advance games on this device and they all worked just as well as this. So yep, it's a good device for Game Boy Advance. Now of course things like PC Engine, Nintendo, Mega Drive, Master System, Game Gear, regular Game Boy and all that, they all work perfectly fine. But two devices which seem to always have problems are the WonderSwan and the Neo Geo Pocket. So let's take a look at some WonderSwan and Neo Geo Pocket games. We'll go with a bit of a WonderSwan color first. And let's see, do we have Guilty Gear on here? We should have. These were all built in, by the way, all these games. Here we go, there's Guilty Gear, we'll go with that. I believe this is a color game, yes, WonderSwan color. So let's see how this handles. Now the crude sound is not an issue with emulation, that's what it sounds like. It's a pretty crude sounding game, this one. Which is a bit of a shame because the WonderSwan can sound very, very good. I mean, if you ever played Beatmania on this device, you will know how good the WonderSwan could sound. But yeah, that's working full speed, as it should. Okay, let's go with a black and white WonderSwan game. Now before we take a look at the game, you may be wondering, can you change the aspect ratio? Well, yes you can. You can also do it on the Game Boy Advance game. So we can get it to go to the normal aspect ratio of the WonderSwan. So let's see, full screen. Let's see, we'll go with that one there. There you go, that's more like a real WonderSwan. Slightly widescreen. And yep, it's running at a good speed. Not too bad. Alright, so finally let's check out Neo Geo Pocket and see how it handles that. That's another one that sometimes has issues. So as always, I'm going to use cotton. I always use cotton when I'm testing Neo Geo Pocket. And as you can see there in the top corner, it's running at 62 frames per second, so a little bit fast actually. Okay, let's get into the actual game. But yeah, that's nice. Nice and smooth. Let's turn up a little bit so you can hear that. Oops. And I'll also take this as an excuse to show you that you can see the screen on any angle. It is such a good screen. Look at that. Lovely. Oh, and I'm dead. But you can see that the game is running perfectly fine. Okay, so the only thing we haven't taken a look at is the arcade stuff. So what I'm going to do is load up a bit of arcade and just let it run on a loop so you can take a look and decide for yourself if it's running well or not. So there we have it. That is the RG-280V. A very capable and very nice little handheld machine. Now, it may be too small for some people with big hands. I mean, I have fairly, well, normal hands but short fingers. But for me, it's not too bad. It feels pretty good in the hand. So if you're somebody who doesn't have really large hands, this might be a good device for you. Emulates all your 16-bit, your 8-bit machines perfectly fine. It does a good job with arcade stuff, not so good with Capcom CPS3 games, as we saw. It's quite jerky with those, but CPS2, CPS1, Neo Geo, some other arcade games such as you're seeing Turtles in time, they're running very, very well on this device. Even the animation where it rotates the pictures, that worked really well as well. Normally that's a bit glitchy on these type of devices, but no, it was good. So yeah, I can recommend this. It's built really well. It's got a good battery. It came with a ton load of games built in, hundreds of games for every system. And of course it plays your videos, 1080p videos. You can listen to your music on it. It's got a built-in rumble feature as well, so PlayStation games that feature rumble will rumble as long as the emulation is supporting the rumble. So yeah, this is a good device. I'll put a link in the video description down below. Check it out, and please don't write in the comment section, if it had analog sticks I would have bought it, but it doesn't, so it's a loser, or it's not a winner, or it's a dead deal, whatever the hell people write. Anyway, don't bother writing that in the comments, because it doesn't matter. You ain't going to buy it in the first place, were you? So yeah, anyway, if you're after a little handheld machine, check it out. This is a good one. Okay, until next time guys, take it easy and keep on gaming. See ya.